never wavering in the first principles that everybody in this group embraces, no matter who the critics would be, no matter what the political consequences, and no matter what the audience wanted to hear. And the second is personal courage. Now, courage is not freedom from fear. Courage is perceiving fear, but moving forward in the face of it anyway for a cause greater than self. And that cause greater than self is the primacy of the individual over the state. The concept that we are gifts and creatures of God Almighty made in His image and likeness, and the trait that we share with Him is human freedom. As He is perfectly free, we are perfectly free. Because our freedom comes from our humanity, which is a gift from God. It does not come from the government. Now, none of that is a new argument to anyone in this room. But you try and make that argument at the Republican caucus of the House of Representatives today. You try to make that argument on the floor of the House of Representatives and you'll have an empty audience. But when you say it with certainty and clarity and courage to the type of people who are in this room, the crowd jumps with delight because you are saying what they know to be true. And they know you are not going to modify the message to please them, because your goal is not to please them. It is to educate them. It is to make sure that they who do not discuss human freedom every day understand that it is natural, understand that it comes from our humanity, understand that it can't be taken away by the government by a majority vote. You see, the government thinks if they do something by a majority vote, that makes it right. Well, the tyranny of the majority can be as hateful, as harmful, as hurtful, as destructive as the tyranny of a madman. Our rights are natural to our humanity, and they're not subject to the majority's wishes. If all the world but one believes in something, it would be no more right for the world to silence the one than it would for the one had he the power to silence the world. Where sometimes in that campaign of 2008, it seemed like the one was Ron Paul. The one willing to take on the Republican establishment and, candidly, some of my colleagues at my day job, was able to manifest the type of courage that put goosebumps on our arms and tears in our eyes, because he is the personification of personal liberty in a free society, because he is the godfather. I know this isn't New Jersey, forgive me. The founding father of the liberty movement that we understand today. When I speak to young people, I often like to end with a little bit of an emotional zing. And I'll repeat it to you now, though it's not the last words I'm going to say to you. I say this: I expect that when I die, I will do so in my bed, in my bedroom, in my home, surrounded by those who love me, faithful to first principles. But some of you must be prepared to die in a government prison, faithful to first principles. And some of you must be prepared to die in a public square to the sound of the government's trumpets blaring, faithful to first principles. When the time comes, you will know what to do, because freedom lies not in the head, but in the heart, in every human heart. But it must do more than just lie there. In the case of Ron Paul, we have the happy warrior of human freedom, who has exercised that great bold heart of his, exuding that love of humanity and freedom more effectively, more clearly, more articulately than anybody in our era today. He is, quite frankly, for those of us in the liberty movement, not only its creator in the modern era, but the standard against whom all of us measure ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, he is, of course, the creator of this movement. He is, of course, the incarnation, the Word made flesh of personal liberty in a free society. And he is the man who proved Lord Acton wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and colleagues, Congressman Ron Paul.
There's not much to say after that, but thank you, everybody. Before I get started, I would like to mention that there are a few members of my family here. First, at the table down here, Carol's here with me. And my brother Wayne is here. Now, there's a lot more, but I'm not going to go over all the names, but I'm going to simplify it. We have 5 children, and three are here. Lori and Ronnie. Where's the third one? Robert! There he is. No, Robert's by himself today. His family's in Fort Worth. But if the 3 would stand up with their families, because a lot of the children and grandchildren, I believe there's a great-grandchild or 2 here, so they're around here. But it is indeed very honoring to have so many people come out, and for those who put this together, Lou Rockwell, like he said, I've known him for a few years. He spent a couple of years in Washington with me, and he and Jeff have put this together for the Mises Institute, and I thank you very much, Lou, for all the effort for that. Also, Tom, thank you very much. Tom also works with me in the homeschooling curriculum and puts a lot of energy into it. And in many ways, Tom, I think the homeschool curriculum is just getting started, and it's going to get bigger and have a significance because it's going to be something that's going to be around for a long time. And of course, we do know that nothing happens in government unless we change people's views, and that's the purpose of a homeschool curriculum, to educate a new generation in the correct fashion to know about economics and history and political philosophy. So I consider that very, very important. But most of all, the thank you goes to people like you who have given me and the organization support, because without your support, there's no activity. Now, I am sometimes amazed at what has happened. In 2007, 2008, surprised me as much as it surprised some other people, because I didn't have a plan. I didn't say, well, if I do A, B, C, this is going to happen, and these are the results. My goals were quite different. My goals in getting into politics were strictly to get information out, because I was motivated by a particular day in history. And guess what day that was? 8/15/71, August 15th, 1971, which is an anniversary today, and that was, of course, the breakdown of the Bretton Woods Agreement, which was a pseudo gold standard, which was doomed to fail. Austrian free market economists predicted it would fail, and it did. And for that reason, I thought that I would speak out on economic issues. So it was a driving force on economic issues, believing that we were in for some bad times. And I recall the event on Monday morning because the announcement came on Sunday night. It was a disastrous announcement. It was severing gold from the dollar, which meant more